Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just won his second NBA MVP award. The question looming now is, did he deserve it? To make the case for SGA, the numbers don't lie. He averaged 31 points per game while going 55% from the field. He also averaged 6.6 assists per game and was the best player on the NBA's best team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the overall 1 seed, 64 wins in the regular season. The NBA voters seem to really respect all the winning as he dominated the first place votes for MVP, securing 83 out of the 100 available. That left Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama in second and third in MVP voting respectively, but not everybody agrees with that. Jokic apparently didn't do enough this year, and his team wasn't good enough to pull the wins votes away from SGA. He only averaged 27 points, 13 rebounds per game, and 10.7 assists per game. That's averaging a triple-double on 57% shooting. I don't know how someone can average a triple-double in the NBA and they don't win the MVP award. Have we become too desensitized to the figure after Russell Westbrook showed he could average it for a season? That's insane. You used to get graphics made every single time a player had a triple-double in the league. They'd be on SportsCenter immediately after, talked about as one of the best players in the world just because they achieved a triple-double. Now we got guys that can average it in a season, and people think it's stat padding. People like pulling videos of it, saying, oh, this isn't a real triple-double. This is a fake triple-double. I do not agree with that one bit. If you average a triple-double in the season, the MVP first place votes should be a lot closer than they were. Also, for Jokic, averaging a triple-double for a season is vastly more impressive than flopping your way to MVP on the free throw line. That game, which SGA thrives on, got tired and played out when James Harden was winning his MVP award in 2018. But the thing with Harden was actually actively changing the game with the way he went about winning the award and the way he went to the free throw line. He was having a vicious step back that would draw NBA players into him, and then he would go up for the shot, get the foul. He wasn't just bulldozing into them like SGA does and then throwing his arms out, getting the call, going to the line for two. Maybe I'm comparing apples to apples right now. Maybe I'm tired of all the flopping. I just did not think that SGA's play style warranted such a huge margin between the votes for first place. It should have been a much closer call to decide that SGA was going to win his second straight award. You know what, though? That's a little bit semantics. Jokic already has 3 MVP awards. I guess that's as many as the NBA voters will give him before they got tired of his game and got tired of seeing and rewarding that style of play with an MVP award. 3 MVPs is great. It's very, very good. You should be happy with it. But you average a triple-double, in my opinion, you should get a stronger consideration. The Wemby snub, on the other hand, will really not be looked back fondly in history, especially with how well he played this season. Let's look at the micro real quick on Wemby before we get to the macro, because the macro is way more important, in my opinion. This year, Wemby averaged 25 points a game, 11.5 rebounds a game, 3 blocks per game. Okay, that's awesome. And then he averaged 3 assists per game. I don't think I really need to explain Victor Wembanyama to you because you know who Wemby is. He wears 1. He's 7'4" or 7'6", whichever you believe. Giving this award to SGA over Victor Wembanyama is just brazen to me by the NBA voters. It feels really academic to me in the way that you vote for SGA, and it feels really analytics based and OKC based, and how they rewarded their front office and getting so many first round picks and getting so many wins and embracing the tank and then getting out of the tank and being led by SGA through it all. It feels super academic. Wemby feels like we'd be rewarding the circus that averages 25 points a game, the circus that also puts seats in the stands. Wemby's a guy that got the San Antonio Spurs, this San Antonio Spurs team, which isn't bombed out. Okay, it's a fine Spurs team, but it's not a Western Conference Finals Spurs team without Wemby. If you were to replace Wemby with another top 15 big in the league, they're not this deep in the playoffs. Certifiably, they might be a first-round exit at best without Wemby. That's not a shock to anyone, though. It really feels like we got ahead of ourselves and voters got ahead of themselves by saying, yeah, we'll give it to SGA this year. Wemby is going to get his. When? When will he get his? What if a guard averages 40 next year? What if there's a wing that averages a triple-double and he's on the best team and it's not Wemby? When is it going to be Wemby's time? Unless we're just giving the forethought that, okay, he's just going to get his and we'll force the issue on that if he has another season reflective of this one. It's a total joke. Wemby could win it every year. He could win the MVP award every single year that he's in the league from here on out. That's what he's shown to me this year. Leading this team so far into the playoffs, being as dominant on the floor as he is, it could be his every single year. And that means it's just going to be up to the voters to choose whether or not it's a Wemby year, similar to how they operated. Is it a LeBron year or not? Are we ready to give it to LeBron? LeBron could have 10. He could have 10 MVP awards, and for some reason he doesn't, because the voters want to spread the wealth out. We want to give everyone a fair shake at the MVP because it would be too easy to vote for LeBron every year. But to me, that's not being a real voter. That is just job validation. That's protecting the fact that you have a vote. That is just not being objective about the sport. Victor Wembanyama was the NBA MVP this year. And in my opinion, it wasn't close. He did it ethically. He brought style back to the five. It was flash points, his points. The blocks were exciting. He was a highlight reel. He was a winner. He had the stats to back him up. And he brought back a broken franchise. Now, the Spurs, you wanted to determine how broken they are. They're not Wizards broken, all right? Okay, hands up. They're not Wizards broken. But they were not a playoff team. They're not a deep-running playoff team without Wemby. So that just makes the NBA MVP award feel like flavor of the month. It does not reflect who the best player in the NBA is and was. Most valuable player too? The Thunder are deep. The Thunder would have made the playoffs. The Thunder probably could have won a series without SGA. They've got a load of first-round picks. They all play well. They all share the ball. They can all score. Not on the Spurs. Wemby is the Spurs. Wemby's the guy that got them there, and we're just discrediting that. That's crazy. He's going to get his eventually. I'd hope so. He's going to save the league. Wemby is the guy that's going to take the torch from LeBron James, and he's actively doing it into the next era of NBA basketball. Okay? It was Jordan, then it was Kobe for a little bit, but it wasn't really Kobe because LeBron came in. And we all knew who LeBron really was. He was going to be the greatest of all time. And now he's passing it off to Wemby, who people thought that LeBron was going to be passing it off to Ben Simmons. No. Zion Williamson. No. Giannis. No. It's going to Wemby. We can all feel and see that it goes to Wemby. So now why are we treating it? We're treating Wemby like he's LeBron. It could be Wemby's this year. It could be Wemby's this year. Jokic had a little bit of that too. But Jokic actually won 3 in years that he deserved it. When are we going to determine that Wemby really deserved it? His influence on the game is unreal also. In the last 10 years, compared to other NBA MVP award winners, I want Wemby to be on this list because I think he is the future of basketball. More than SGA, who won it the last 2 years. Jokic, Embiid, Jokic for 24, 23, 22, 21. All right, Jokic was great for the league. He still is. He's a fun 5 to watch. He's exciting. Embiid, go ahead, give him his. Giannis won back-to-back. Wemby better for the game than Giannis. Wemby more important for the future of the game than Giannis. Harden won his already. Fine. Little gimmicky, but I respected it. Westbrook won his in 2017. 9 years ago, the guy averaged a triple-double, and now dudes are doing it regularly, and he only had 1 MVP, whatever. Curry in 2016, 2015, all right, he was dominant, but Wemby, more important for the game. It almost feels like a punishment for being too good because LeBron came in the league in 2003. He won his first NBA MVP award in 2009. Someone tell me how that makes sense. You're telling me LeBron had to wait 6 years? How long is Wemby going to have to wait? How many years of dragging bad teams into the playoffs is it going to take before we reward a guy for his efforts, for being the best player in the league? Whatever. I mean, SGA had a good season. I don't want to run down a player that had a good season. He had a good season, okay? It was a good year for SGA. He did good. It just feels very Fortnite, Roblox, Zoomer, TikTok edit coded to me. It doesn't feel like basketball, hooper, ethical bucket, and people have issues with ethical buckets. It's not ethical buckets from SGA. It's just put the numbers where the numbers are supposed to be, put the win in the win column, and you get the NBA MVP award. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like real basketball voters voted on this because they would have been ashamed to say, here's a 7'4" freak who can do it all, and he was the best player on the court. But he's still too young, and he's still too fresh in the league, and he's doing too much too early. So we have to get these other these MVPs out of the way before Wemby starts his tear. What if he doesn't, though? What if he doesn't? Anything can happen in the NBA. Reward the players while they're still in it. Saving MVPs is the most ludicrous thing ever. And basketball voters and basketball media, they think they're so above being compared to the baseball writers who are very stingy with the Hall of Fame. They're not. The way that they operate with the MVP is exactly the way that MLB voters work with the Hall of Fame. And they think that there's difference. There's not. Let me know. Should SGA have won this MVP award? Did he deserve it? Should it have gone to Jokic? Should it have gone to Wemby? Drop all the comments below.